You booked a 2,000 seat arena in one of the biggest wrestling hotbeds on the entire face of the planet. Like, do you understand how much Torontonians love wrestling? I don't think you do, because if you did understand it, AEW, you would not have booked the bloody Rico Bloody Coliseum that barely holds anybody. You would have booked Scotiabank Arena and you would have sold it out. Do you understand that? Scotiabank Arena sellout. That's what would have happened, and you would have made huge headlines for positive reaction. Instead, you've got me, you've got Krishna, and my God, the number of fans I saw responding to some of your posts on your tickets.
Hey, wrestling fans. Welcome to the One Wing Wrestling Podcast, where two wrestling elitists discuss or review AEW events and wrestling news from around the world. At One Wing Wrestling, our motto is, we go where the elite go. I'm your host, Christian and and joining me today is Mr. Bill Cutbush. Bill, how's it going?
You know, it's been a pretty good day. It's not what I would call a perfect day, because if I were to come on our wrestling podcast for a perfect day, I'd be talking about the amazing seats that we had for Dynamite in October in Toronto. But since that didn't happen, and we'll get to that in a moment, it can't possibly be a completely amazing day. But it's a good day, and I'm not going to complain that hard, because we're going to look at this episode of Dynamite tonight. We're going to talk about it. We're going to predict it. We're going to come back and review it like we always do. And I'm pretty damn hyped for this episode of Dynamite tonight, because we're getting a match I didn't think I was going to see this soon at all. So yeah, I may be a little bit off due to the lack of tickets, but man, when we get a match with the elite like we got coming tonight, yeah. What about you?
Yeah, same. I mean, we'll talk about the ticket situation in a bit, but I totally agree with that. It's last week we said that the match between Death Triangle and United Empire was on the Omega level. I don't know what this match tonight's going to be like, right? So yeah, I'm with you. I am very excited, and we'll talk about the match when we get to it. But before that, do you want to do our issues with the tickets first, and then move on to being and keeping up with the elites, or how do you want to do it?
Let's start with the bad stuff and purge our system. Let's just get it out there, and then we can move on to talking about two of our favorite wrestlers.
Sounds good.
Okay. So yeah, we both Christian and I were really hyped. If you remember a few shows, we're like, we're going to Dynamite in Toronto. We're going to Dynamite in Toronto. Well, we got ready to buy tickets, and on Friday morning, well before 10, we both got in line. And when I signed in, there was already 2,000 people ahead of me in the line. Now that's fine to a certain point. But here's the thing. None of those 2,000 people practically got tickets, because they were already all sold, because they held a bunch of various pre-sales for all kinds of stuff. And the only tickets that were available on Ticketmaster were for $3,000. Just stop and think about that for a minute. Who in their right mind is going to pay $1,500, $1,200, $3,000 to go watch AEW Dynamite? Listen, I love Dynamite. That's clear. I sit down here and talk about it with you guys every week, right? I love this show. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. I really want to see it live. I love live wrestling. I am not going to pay $3,000 for a ticket. And as I pointed out to Krishna, as we were looking at this and both of us were like, what the hell? It was like, if we wanted to go to see Dynamite tonight in Chicago, there are tickets available for $65. If we wanted to go to All Out, there are tickets available for $100 and some. We could still go to the pay-per-view in Chicago for a tenth of the price that the upsellers are selling tickets for to AEW Dynamite in Toronto. Therein lies the problem.
Yeah. It's, I think honestly, it's an issue with Toronto in general. And listen, I love Toronto. I've lived here all my life, and I don't want to ever move away. But think about just buying tickets to regular shows here. They're always like at these crazy prices. Now, again, I'm not going to blame Toronto specifically for this, but you're right. When I looked it up on that day, I said, Billy, and I noticed that there was like an AEW fan event that they held where they had pre-sales. We're fans. How come we weren't included in this? Like first of all, if you're gonna have these things, let the fans know. Because you know what? If it's an easy sign up for something, hey, we would have signed up. We would have been ready to go. Like this is something that we were waiting for a very long time. For the past since 2019, we've been saying like we can't wait till AEW comes to Toronto. We can't wait till they come to Canada. Period. We heard that they were coming to Canada a couple weeks back. We were just shocked. That was like one of the biggest things that we've heard in such a long time. We were ready, went online, queued up, and then nothing available.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not spending that amount of money just to watch this what I love, right? But I'm not going to spend that amount of money. That's just a ridiculous amount, and it's all resellers. So and they know some people will pay for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the fans are being gouged. Like this to me is like the PS5 all over again. People who didn't even care about the PS5 bought it and then resold it at double, triple the price to the people that wanted it, right?
Yep.
And I hate when things like this happen because you really are taking away from the fan base. And I just, things I just absolutely hate. So yeah, we're not going to AEW Dynamite when it comes to Toronto. We'll be watching it as normal from the comfort of our own homes.
Yep.
But it would have been something I would have loved to have gone to.
It really would have been. And I place the blame on a couple of different places. Okay, look, I'll take my own responsibility to a certain degree. Perhaps I should have researched more before we went and bought the tickets, right? That's on me. Perhaps I should have done a little more research to figure out, are there ways we can get pre-sold tickets? But it never dawned on me I needed to do that because in every AEW Dynamite announcement, tickets go on sale Friday at 10. There was no mention of a pre-show. There was no mention of a pre-sale. There was no mention of anything. You know what the fan club was? The fan club was for the TNT people who watch AEW. So you had to know that you had to go to the TNT website to sign up. You know who doesn't know that? Canadians. Because we don't watch it on TNT, people. We watch it on TSN because that's how we have to watch it. How was I supposed to know there was even a TNT AEW fan club?
So wait, these tickets was this specific for the US fans?
No, I guess Canadians can sign up for this fan club, but you'd have to first of all know it even existed.
Yeah, no, I didn't even think anything like that existed because everything that I've seen from AEW has pointed me directly to the AEW website, and which the website said that tickets go on sale Friday, August 26th at 10 a.m.
And what's a platinum member?
I have no idea.
I don't know that either because apparently they also got pre-sale. So, I mean, there's a bunch of people that I have no idea who they are, how you get into these things that suddenly were able to buy tickets. AEW, that's on you. You told me, a huge fan who loves your product enough to sit here and broadcast my love for it every single week, that I would have tickets available to an event in my hometown for the first time at this time on this date. And guess what? There were no tickets at that time on that date. This was done so you could say you sold the event out immediately. Guess what? You did sell the event out the day before, right? Maybe you should have announced that. Maybe you should have told us it practically sold out the day before and all you had left were a bunch of reseller tickets. That would have been great. Some honesty up front would have been great. You know what else you were told? You booked a too small venue. You booked the WWE House Show Arena, the old Rico Coliseum, now the Coca-Cola Arena. You booked a 2,000 seat arena in one of the biggest wrestling hotbeds on the entire face of the planet. Like, do you understand how much Torontonians love wrestling? I don't think you do, because if you did understand it, AEW, you would not have booked the bloody Rico Bloody Coliseum that barely holds anybody. You would have booked Scotiabank Arena and you would have sold it out. Do you understand that? Scotiabank Arena sellout. That's what would have happened, and you would have made huge headlines for positive reaction. Instead, you've got me, you've got Krishna, and my God, the number of fans I saw responding to some of your posts on your ticket sales. Like, to have the balls to announce after the fact that there are tickets available in Toronto, or these tickets went on sale today after they were already sold out. I mean, come on, you knew this was going to happen. It just burns me up. And Ticketmaster, you're not excused either. Why do you allow resellers to put tickets up for sale so far beyond the face value of the ticket? What are you like? What kind of profit are you getting off these guys? You just want your fees off them? It's ridiculous. It is the worst form of capitalism, and it is a serious, serious issue. And Ticketmaster needs to stop allowing resellers like this. Okay, rant
Yeah,
off.
and that's it, right? I mean, like we've been to Rico / Coca-Cola Coliseum, so
Mhm.
we know. And listen to the fans who receive tickets. You're gonna be so close to the wrestlers. I'm just jealous of you right now. Like
Yes.
like literally, we've seen hockey games there, so we know how close you're gonna be. And Bill's right. Like this is just ridiculous. Like how do you set up an event like this, knowing, or maybe not knowing, maybe Tony Khan, maybe there's something you didn't know, but you're telling me that you didn't know that Chris Jericho, Canadian, Kenny Omega, Canadian, were coming back to their country, right? That they wouldn't generate like a huge fan base of people wanting to see them. Ethan Page, even like Ethan Page, Canadian,
And
right?
never mind the support that we have given
From the
time and
beginning.
time again to so many wrestlers that aren't Canadian. You know, Toronto fans are smart wrestling fans. They're like
Yep.
Chicago wrestling fans.
Yep.
We know that's why Chicago's our sister city. We know wrestling. We know it inside and out. We have indie venues all over this city. We have indie venues in towns around this city. It is a strong wrestling city. You know what, AEW? I want you to go to your market research team and have a little chat with them about how to research a market. Get your head out of your US ass and have a look across the border and figure out that you actually do have a market up here. You go to Toronto, you go to Montreal, you go to Vancouver, you are going to get sellouts.
Yep.
Period. End of story. These are all, especially Toronto and Montreal, are wrestling cities. We know wrestling. Look at your wrestling history, right? What dates back all the way here? There was a territory here way back, Maple Leaf Wrestling, right? Look at the Rougeau brothers coming out of like Montreal and stuff. Like there's just so much rich wrestling history up here. And to not know that, to not know and look at how many sellouts there have been up here in Canada. Look, we even pack WWE house shows. Okay?
Yep.
Think about it.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right.
This
So
this this the sorry, but you dropped the ball on this one. So yeah, unhappy, but you know what? Maybe next time. Maybe we'll learn. I just wanted to see Kenny, man. I just wanted to see
yeah.
Kenny in the Bucks, and
Well, we did learn. Road trip to Chicago.
yeah, cheaper.
I'm telling you, man, that would be a lot of fun. We should just do a road trip to Chicago.
Yeah, I
Sure, Toronto.
honestly, I'd be in for that because even Buffalo, it's right there, right? And they go to Buffalo
Yeah,
too.
except it's Buffalo.
That's true. Except we would have to go to
Yeah,
Buffalo. No offense,
yeah,
Buffalo, but
yeah.
we'd have to
No,
go
no, I
there.
am offending you, Buffalo. It's yeah. Look, I don't hate you, Buffalo, but you guys insulted me when I wore a Leaf jersey there once.
That's
So
true. You guys wanted
yeah,
to beat us up when we wore Leaf jerseys. Like we
yeah,
weren't even fighting with you.
yeah,
But
exactly. Anyway,
yeah.
okay. Well, like I said, purge. We have purged. There is better news to talk about than AEW and their inability to do real market research. We have a lot of news about Kenny Omega and Will
Mm-hmm.
Ospreay before tonight's match. Why don't you fill us
Mm-hmm.
in on what happened?
So after the show went off the air on Wednesday night, Kenny well, we saw the elite come out to meet the United Empire. However, it kind of cut, right? Like it stopped and it went off the air. But then afterwards, AEW posted the actual response. So Kenny grabbed the mic Kenny then said he's going to do something that's normally not done. He first got the audience to kind of cheer on United Empire because, of course, United Empire owed it to our audience to put on that show. And then he said he's going to let them speak, right? Because, you know, Kenny was the one that kind of paved the way. He never received a thank you or anything like that from Will Ospreay for after New Japan. Kenny passes the mic to Will. Will just starts insulting Kenny, calling him a P and stuff like that. And he can't believe the cleaner is doing this. He said he's done so much more than the cleaner has done in such a little time. He's had 5-star matches. He was at the G1 and everything like that. Mike goes back to Kenny. Kenny kind of says, "You know what? You lost against Okada. There's nothing to be ashamed of. I've lost against Okada, but I've also beat Okada." Right? That was the first thing. I beat Okada. Right? So he says that, and he tells them, "Listen, like, you know, no one remembers your matches. No one even knows your matches." So I'm like, ouch, 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 Kenny. And back and forth, like obviously Will's getting pretty upset. And he said, you know, it's my fault. He said, I should never have left you to fill my shoes if you haven't even, like, you know, left your diapers yet. Right. And I was like, wow. If you're setting up for this upcoming match this week, I don't know how else. Like, honestly, are we looking past this match now? Are we looking to Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, which is obviously going to happen eventually? But like, it's made me just look right past everything. I'm like, I'm excited. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Like, Kenny, he's back to his normal self. He's really good on the mic, and I don't think he gets enough credit for what he does, because we saw that today. Or sorry, not today, last Wednesday. He cuts the promo. Will cuts a promo, but then he just like overshadows everything Will says, right? So yeah, I'm excited, Bill. I don't know. Like I don't know what you're thinking about this.
Well, I mean, look, he did overshadow him. Kenny obviously came out on top in this exchange. I would like to correct Kenny Omega on one thing, though. Sure, Will Ospreay wrestled his final in front of 3,000 fans at the G1 because that was the limit of people they could put into the arena.
Exactly.
It's not like he had the option of wrestling in front of as many fans. And I love the fact, too, that Don Callis conveniently doubled the capacity of the Tokyo Dome when he was talking about it during the show. It's like, so the Tokyo Dome apparently grew twice the size because there were 80,000 people in it watching Kenny. I guess there were people sitting on top of each other, hanging from the rafters. I don't know, but anyway, yeah. So there's the little, like, you know, some of the digs were kind of like, yeah, but you know, that's kind of unfair. And I'm not so sure.
Heel digs.
Yeah. Oh, they were totally heel digs. So yeah, and I really wish they'd done it on the main show. They could have cut out some of the crap that was during the main show. To allow these really awesome promos at the end that I would have loved to have seen. But at least the
CM Punk match was only a couple minutes, Bill, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. Like, it was only a couple minutes, right? So yeah, I mean, there wasn't any other crap on that show, right? Yeah, anyway. Yeah. So, you know, I am, but I mean, seriously, you hit the nail on the head. What a way to hype the match for tonight, right? I mean, what a way to sell the match for tonight completely off the air, and you had to go find extra footage to see it. That's my, again, AEW marketing department. You are trying to draw ratings to your channel.
Yeah.
You might want to put the big stuff on the actual program and stop giving us gun club matches. Seriously, get the guns off the television, put them on dark, allow Kenny and Will to go at it on the mic on your television so that everyone can see it. Because guess what? Not every wrestling fan goes to Instagram after, or goes to your website after, or something to find extra footage. Not everyone does that. In fact, I would bet you a lot of money that the majority of your fans don't do that. I would love to see the research on how many of the fans actually participate in extracurricular stuff after watching Dynamite. Right?
Yep. Agreed.
So you want to keep your audience, you keep that stuff on the main channel.
Yep. No, I'm with you.
Yep.
I'm with you. I was kind of shocked when, because it looked like it got cut, right? It looked like it actually got cut. So when I heard that, like, I didn't look, I was like, oh wow, this is gonna be like a showdown,
Yeah.
and then it ended. Like
Yeah, I know.
it ended very WWE-ish, where it's kind of like, oh, they just stare each other down and nothing happens.
Yeah.
But something did happen, and you made us go online to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, there's still that they need to polish their stuff up a little better vibe to AEW, where it's, you know, tighten your timing up, trim the fat, get the really good stuff on the air. And we all know anything involving the elite and, the honorary elites like Will Ospreay and United Empire, anything involving those guys should be front and center every single week. You want to sell stuff, you bring me the elite. End of story. The elite sells. No elite, less sell. End of story.
Yep, agreed.
Do
I'm
you
agree
know?
there.
Do you know what else they really need to do?
What's that?
Not have Kevin Nash engage with Will Ospreay.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about sales for T-shirts or something like that, or merchandise?
Yeah. First of all, ripping into Will Ospreay for selling the merchandise, but Will Ospreay's comeback, where did you tear a quad typing that tweet, was amazing. Okay, so Will Ospreay may not have Kenny's art down perfectly, but he definitely has a certain flair for the response.
100%. And
Yep.
and really, like Kevin Nash, who cares? Like let's be real. Like I don't know if it's a work and you're just trying to promote these guys or whatever, but don't, like, who cares about merchandise? Like, let's talk about matches. Do you want to talk about your matches? Okay.
Slowest
Yeah.
big man ever in
You
wrestling.
want to talk about almost breaking Paul White's neck? Do you want to talk about that? Pound for pound, the weakest wrestler I've ever seen in my life, Kevin Nash. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Let's be real here, okay? Like,
Yes.
Kevin Nash, you made your comment. Who cares? Right? Who cares?
Exactly. And Will Ospreay won that one. So at least he won something this week, but I mean, it was against a pretty easy opponent to beat, unfortunately.
Yeah, agreed.
But speaking of opponents, we have a Dynamite tonight.
We do have a Dynamite. Before we just jump into Dynamite, just quickly, you and I just watched the video for AEW Fight Forever.
Oh, yes. Fight Forever.
It looks fantastic. Right off the bat, it looks fantastic. We are excited. It looks like the old No Mercy game from the N64, and it looks like it plays exactly the same way.
Yep.
I can't wait. Hopefully this year, fingers crossed, it comes out. We're gonna have a lot of Fight Forever gaming to talk about on this channel, because if it is what we hope it is, and hopefully there's a creator wrestler there as well.
There is.
It's gonna be amazing.
Right. No, it's going to be completely. There's a career mode in it apparently. So
fantastic.
So yeah, I mean that sold me. I'm all in on career mode and creating. Someday I'll actually use it to wrestle. You know how that works. But yeah, no, seriously, I cannot wait for this game. I saw the footage. It looks great. It looks like controls that a guy my age can use without wanting to throw his controller across the room, which is a major bonus for some of the games today, where it's like, quick, press this, and this, and you might get this off, and then you have to shove the joint. And at that point, guys my age are like, what? Because we remember Atari joysticks. It was a stick with a red button, and it was pretty great. But I digress. Yeah, no, it looks amazing. I saw the footage. I mean, I would love to see slightly more realistic graphics on the guys, but they're good enough to keep me happy. It's not going to take me out of the game. Agreed. I mean, it's because if the game plays there, I really don't give a damn. And as they point out in the commercial over and over and over again, this is not finalized footage. So
yeah,
okay, that's great. I like the fact that they have voice during taunts. That's great, because I like taunting. Hi, Arf. How's it going? Anyway, someday we'll explain that comment. But anyway, yes. So yeah, Fight Forever. Can't wait. I'll be pre-ordering that bad boy the second I can.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Yep.
So as you were saying, we have a show tonight.
We do have a show, and I've right now. I mean, I checked pretty recently. There's still only 4 announced matches. Have you noticed anything more recent than me?
Nothing.
Okay, well, let's get into it then. We have an AEW World Champion Jon Moxley with his promo.
we need this. We need this because this is our go home show. So we didn't mention that. This is the go home show to the actual pay-per-view coming up this weekend.
Yep.
Something's gonna happen. Something's happening. We're finding out who Mox is facing at the pay-per-view. That hasn't been decided yet.
No.
Which is probably gonna be CM Punk. But I mean, we're we're finding that information out tonight. So I am very interested in this promo because it's going to settle a lot of things. So yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, I'm interested too, and I keep hearing too it's still going to be CM Punk, and I'm like, how are they going to get there? And
Same.
I'm really interested in finding out what happens with this. So yeah, his promo is going to be a major, major part of tonight's show. I wouldn't be surprised if they start the show with it. So
Yeah, agreed.
yeah. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see what happens. I'm pretty sure it's going to be CM Punk. I want to see how they're going to do this. I mean, after I got over the bit last week, I'm like, they're telling a story that I don't know what it is, and I like that. So let's figure this out.
So basically, you're Homer. I'm somewhere where I don't know where I am. That's where we're at right now.
That I am Homer Simpson. That is correct. You've all heard it now. I am Homer Simpson. Okay. Up next, probably at 9:30, we have Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida and Toni Storm.
So this match here is interesting because this is actually a pretty good match. Like honestly, these women are pretty good wrestlers. Not pretty good. They're probably like the best wrestlers AEW has for the women division right now.
Well, three of the four of them.
Minus Toni Storm. But like I expect this match is gonna be really good. I expect great. I expect this to be probably one of the better women's matches that we've had for a while, just with the people that are in this match. And I'm wondering, like Britt and Jamie in the match together, is something going to happen here, right?
Maybe.
I don't know, but this match is going to be really good.
Yes, no, I couldn't agree more. I think it's going to be great. I saw Toni Storm on Being the Elite this week. She was hanging out with the best friends, but she didn't really contribute much to the conversation. No. She just kind of sat there. It was kind of like the way she is in her wrestling matches. She didn't really contribute much. She just kind of sat there. Just so kind of there. I expect that. I think Hikaru Shida is going to be the main point on that team. I can't wait to see some Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida. I want to see some Britt Baker versus Hikaru Shida. Toni Storm can stand on the apron. I'm quite fine with that. But you know what we're going to see? We are going to see some spinning DDTs.
Tornado DDTs.
Yep. Tornado DDTs, maybe a springboard DDT. And we're going to see an awful lot of hips to the face in the corner. So, yep, we can guarantee we're going to see some of those too. So, yeah, that's what we're getting. And I don't think we'll get many hips to the face, though, in the next match. The Bryan Danielson versus Jake Hager with Chris Jericho on commentary.
Yeah, this is the follow-up match from last week. Obviously, we have Danielson versus Jericho at the pay-per-view. So I'm assuming Jericho's going to interfere. Like, that's the only thing. Maybe Hager gets the win. Maybe. But if Hager gets the win, then I'm calling right now that Jericho's losing at the pay-per-view, right? Yeah. But because, you're not going to have Danielson just lose back-to-back.
Well, no, he's not going to. He's going to beat Hager, and I'll tell you why. Because Jericho's going to come down to interfere, and Daniel Garcia is going to stop Jericho.
Oh, okay.
And it's actually going to end up costing Hager the match. Because Danielson's not going to be interfered with, and Danielson, as we know, can beat Jake Hager in his sleep. So he will beat Jake Hager, but it'll involve Daniel Garcia as well, because I don't think they're going to take the eyes off of the fact that the whole reason that Chris Jericho and Bryan Danielson are fighting is because they have Daniel Garcia up on a pole, and one of them gets to win him.
So Vince Russo booked this match, apparently.
That is correct. Okay. Yes.
Tony Khan has now hired Vince Russo. In a shark cage.
Shark cage, yeah. So up in a shark cage, and if they get him, they rescue the one who gets to rescue Daniel Garcia from the shark cage. Right. Okay. That sounds good. And then they have to marry him.
Exactly. Yes. They have to.
Yeah. It all makes sense, right? Now we're doing South Park wrestling booking. Okay, cool. So after that match that Bryan Danielson wins, we have what I suspect will be the main event of the night. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, the Elite, taking on Will Ospreay and Aussie Open, Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher, who are collectively United Empire in the AEW Trios Title Tournament semifinal match, what they're calling the Dynamite Finals semifinal match.
Yeah. Match of the night. I mean, come on. There's nothing in my mind telling me that this isn't going to be match of the night. There's going to be a lot of storytelling, so you're going to love this, Bill. I have a prediction on what's going to happen here. There's been a lot of comments on Kenny Omega and how he, like, what he's been wearing. Like, even Will Ospreay made the comment, "Oh, are you wearing that shirt to cover up your non-abs or whatever?" Right? And Kenny had made the comment, "Oh, well, it's for the surgery. It's covering that up." I have a feeling they're playing this into it as Kenny is still hurt, and it's going to be played into the pay-per-view because the Elite are going to win, obviously. But in the pay-per-view, Kenny, because Hangman, I'm telling you, is going to take the place of 10, who, if anyone watched Friday night, he got injured. So
Yes.
Hangman's going to take his place, and Kenny's going to reveal that he's perfectly fine and absolutely destroy Hangman in the process as a heel. Like, this is it's playing itself out here, right? Kenny Omega is perfectly fine. He's just playing this up, and I think that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna come out of the pay-per-view that he's been okay the entire time. He's basically the mastermind behind all of this. But yeah, that's my prediction. They're gonna win tonight. It's gonna be an amazing match, and the match with Hangman in it at the pay-per-view, Kenny Omega is perfectly fine. It's going to be absolutely amazing. That's my prediction. Who knows what's going to happen tonight?
Well, here's why I think you're right. And yes, this will be not only match of the night, it could very well be match of the year.
Yeah, fair.
Because how long have we been saying Kenny versus Ospreay?
Will.
All right. We get to see them in a ring across from each other. Probably fight each other, but I bet they're going to tease that one to death, right? If Kenny and them are playing up the heel role, though, that's almost painting Ospreay and the boys in a face role, which is interesting. And here's how I think it's going to happen. I'm going to bet Ospreay ends up getting the better of Omega.
Ooh.
Okay. And Omega cheats to beat him. He pulls the whole stunt. He's feeling better, like you said, pulls something on him, and they cheat to win. And they get the victory, but that adds fuel to the whole fire, right? Because now Ospreay's got a bunch of material for some pretty good promos. And Kenny talking about, well, you lost. You just don't have it. So yeah, I'm thinking we're going to get it because you need to set up the Hangman versus the Elite angle coming up at the pay-per-view. So I think you're dead right about that. Unfortunately, the best friends will lose the match this week against Hangman and Crew, the Dark Order. I think that because they already were announcing like, ooh, mystery partner, that it's it's funny they were announcing mystery partner last time and it was 10.
It was 10.
I know. I'm like, you said mystery partner, and this time they can actually do mystery partner, and it's Hangman. So. Hangman. Yeah, because Evil Uno's still busy. Watch it be Evil Uno. He's back from promoting the video game. It's like, there's your mystery partner. Imagine? Yeah. Or Colt Cabana.
Ooh.
Could be Colt Cabana. So yeah, you never know. But anyway, yeah, I think it's gonna be Hangman, and we're heading towards that match. But my God, this match tonight. I mean, I cannot express how much I'm looking forward to this main event tonight. It is going to be an insane match.
Yep. Agreed. I cannot wait.
Yep. So yeah, we've got. I didn't see anything else announced for this, so I suspect we're gonna have some more material. I can't believe it's only gonna be these 4 things. That we've got a pay-per-view coming up. It's the Go Home show. It's Chicago. CM Punk's gonna be on this show somewhere. So yep. So, and I suspect with the Jon Moxley segment, I don't know what else is going to happen. I mean, they got to promote some other stuff, right? Maybe we'll see some Motor City Machine Guns, but I guess we'll find out soon, won't we?
We will. And actually, I'm just looking at Twitter as we're speaking right now. So we do have obviously the Trios quarter Dynamite final. Yeah. We have the Toni Storm, Hikaru Shida, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter match. We have the Jake Hager versus Bryan Danielson, and it looks like they've now added Wheeler Yuta, Dante Martin, Ray Fenix, and Roosh in a match.
4-way?
It looks like it.
For what?
It looks like it. It doesn't say. It just says. It has the 4 of them. I'm just looking at a picture. It has the 4 of them, and it just has their names, like Wheeler Yuta, Dante Martin, Ray Fenix, and Roosh. So I'm not sure if that's just a match they've thrown together, maybe a 4-way match, which would be kind of cool. Here it is. Sorry,
that'd be great.
There we go. So Tony Khan just tweeted literally an hour ago. Ahead of the casino ladder match at AEW All Out this Sunday, an exciting quartets of those 8 great competitors will fight tonight in a 4-way match.
Nice. Okay, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Oh
That's
yeah,
another match to look forward to. Those are 4 great guys in the ring, and yeah, and those 4 guys in a ladder match Sunday. But I mean, we will get to that when we do our prediction show later this week. But
awesome.
yeah, okay, though that's awesome. So that's good. That's good. So we've got all this to watch. Well, I think it's time that we go watch the show. So why don't we go watch the show?
Let's do it.
Okay, we will be back soon. And as I always let you know, to you guys, it'll seem like we never left. And that was Dynamite. Like I said, it's like we never left, except we were gone for hours. And some of
Yep.
those commercial breaks make it feel like hours, but that's
Hours.
okay. I mean, man, those 2 hours always fly by so fast, though.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway, we had a heck of a show tonight, and let's get into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay. Tonight's show, Dynamite, came from Chicago, Illinois, from the Now Arena, and we have JR Excalibur and Taz on commentary. And we open up right away with Mox's music hitting, and he gets lost. He comes out, looks around like he doesn't know where he is, asks some fans for directions. He walks past the ring the first time, and went through most of his theme music by the time he finally got in the ring. I have to say, my favorite sign of the night, though, was showing up all night and it was in the front row and it said, just enjoy wrestling. And you know
That's
what?
right.
Just
Just enjoy.
enjoy wrestling. That's right.
Yep.
Mox gets in the ring. The audience boos him. Not a
Mm-hmm.
lot of love for Mox. And he says, I know you love your boy, but they're still mopping him up off the mat in Cleveland. But hey, you want to talk about it? What? Punk said he was the modern 60-minute man. What a load of crap. I had 57 minutes left in me. Did he? I don't think
Mm-hmm.
so. When guys get in the ring with me, I'm the heart and soul of AEW, and we find out what they're really made of. CM Punk gave me his best shot. I didn't care. He looked for a way out. He folded, curled up into a little ball to die, and he folded. Champions never fold. I'm genuinely sorry CM Punk didn't turn out to be what you wanted him to be. I have zero sympathy for CM Punk. Fragile ego, fragile body, weak mind, weak spirit. And then he says, but that's enough of that. Let's go to the future. I got an open contract for a title match this Sunday. Anybody, anytime, any place. He leaves the title contract in the ring, and he says, whoever wants this will find out what they're made of. But remember, I can outfight and out wrestle you, and I give far fewer you know whats than you do. I'm the living embodiment of professional wrestling. Wrestling John Moxley may be hazardous to your health. You've been warned. So Moxley leaves, and he literally leaves an unsigned contract in the middle of the ring. That's when we see Ace Steel, CM Punk's longtime trainer, come out to the ring, takes the contract, and heads backstage.
Yeah, what a crazy way to start. But we were saying that, what's gonna happen with this match? Like, who's he fighting? Obviously, we kind of knew who was fighting. But anyways, who's he fighting? Interesting way to open. He actually left the contract
Yeah,
on the wrestling mat. Brave to go into Chicago and say all that stuff about CM Punk. Um,
indeed.
but the crowd booed a little bit, but there were some cheers
Yeah.
in the audience, right? Moxley's still a big face for AEW. So yeah, this got me curious what was gonna happen. We joked QT Marshall was gonna run out and sign a
QT
contract.
Marshall's going to come out and take the contract. Yeah.
But yeah, this was very curious. And when that guy walked out, you said, "Isn't that the trainer that Punk was
Yeah.
talking to last week?" And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." So we were like, "Okay, what's happening? When are they going to pay this off?" But we will get to that in a second. What did you think about this promo?
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought Mox came in here and did exactly what he needed to do. He was able to act kind of heelish in Chicago, which was okay. But I mean, you know what I love about his promos? He always feels like he's being honest as hell. Like
Hmm.
he never comes across as contrived. We've joked before that he's in the Eddie Kingston category of not knowing wrestling is fake. And so it's realism, genuineness. He's just so good on the mic, right? And the way he hypes it all up, like whoever's going to come in the ring, who's going to get hurt, it makes you want to see the match. I mean, for me, it's like whoever picks that contract up, even if it's QT Marshall, I want to see the match. I want to see Mox at that kind of fired up level in a match. So yeah, this got me going. When Ace Steel came out and picked up the contract, I'm like, okay, I kind of think I know where this is going, but we will find out later. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff
Good
to open the
promo.
show. Yep.
Yeah.
And then we immediately go to Chris Jericho in the back, and he says, you're going to see the Lionheart versus the American Dream. This is a dream match for most people. It's a nightmare match for Danielson. Stu and Owen Hart might appreciate your skills more, but they'd appreciate what I've done for the wrestling business more. And that'll include beating you Sunday. But then Daniel Garcia walks up and he apologizes to Jericho for being immature last week. And he pledges his loyalty to the Jericho Appreciation Society, much to the chagrin of the audience. And Garcia tells him, "You're going to beat Bryan. It won't even be close. You won't cheat. You'll just be the best version of yourself. I know you can do it."
Yeah. Firstly, just to correct Bill, Bill, American Dragon, not American Dream.
Did I say American Dream?
You did.
He's facing Dusty Rhodes. Oh, that's awesome. That's like my best mistake ever. Cool.
Awesome.
The American Dream.
Awesome. Yeah, this match, this promo, it's continuing the story. Like, isn't he, like, what's happening with Daniel Garcia? Kind of like, again, from what we remember about Lionheart is not what we remember about Lionheart. And just anyone listening, Bill's dying right now as he is laughing about saying the American Dream instead of the American Dragon.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, when this match started, I'm like, okay, something's up, something's gonna happen. So yeah, no, it was quick. Again, Jericho just trying to build that match against Bryan Danielson, but yeah, we'll see what comes after. What do you think about the promo?
No, I liked the promo a lot. I'm looking forward to some bionic elbows from American Dream. Oh, I'm so sorry. I feel like some guy now who's like mussed up a line and can't keep a straight face anymore. Yeah, anyway, no, but seriously, Daniel Garcia coming in and saying what he said, it's like, Garcia has this picture of expectations of Chris Jericho. Oh, you really are this wonderful wrestler who doesn't need to cheat to win. And sadly, I feel like Daniel Garcia's expectations are going to be shattered. Kind of like, I mentioned in our pre-show when I was like, what the real thing in this match is going to be? Garcia is going to get involved to stop Jericho. So it didn't quite go exactly the way I think it's going to go, but it's close enough that, again, I think that, they quickly listened to our unreleased yet preview show to it and decided to do what I said that they should do with this stuff. So anyway, yeah, no, I liked it because I think it's moving it in a good direction. Right. And that leads us to Bryan Danielson, not the American Dream, the American Dragon, taking on Jake Hager. And we have William Regal on commentary, and they're also joined by Chris Jericho. There's some back and forth at the beginning. Hager gets the upper hand early in the corner until Danielson gets a front chancery on him. Hager escapes it, but Danielson follows it up with a tope suicida, which is followed up by a jump off the apron, but caught by Hager in a pretty impressive looking power slam through the timekeeper's table to a holy bleep chant.
Yeah.
And then Hager starts to work Danielson over on the outside, slamming him around, hitting him into the ring post, that kind of stuff. This goes on for the commercial break. But then at the end of it, Hager has Danielson on the turnbuckle, Danielson with a missile drop kick off of it. Yes kicks, finished with a big heel kick to the head for a near fall, some hammer and anvil elbows. He tries for Juji Gatama, but Hager ends up mounting him and giving him a bunch of punches. Danielson reverses that with a triangle, but Hager power bombs, like powers out of it, power bomb. A label lock attempt is turned into an ankle lock, but Danielson reverses that to get the label lock on again, but Hager gets to the ropes. Danielson with some corner drop kicks. Hager catches him for a side slam, but Danielson gets out, launches a Busaiko knee from the corner, and that's the 3 matches over.
Yeah, the match was good. I enjoyed it. I thought it did what it needed to do. I didn't expect Danielson to just win with the Psycho knee. Like that, as you've mentioned, like they're building him as he can win with anything, right?
Yeah.
So that I do enjoy that he used to use that move in WWE as his finisher, but now here in AEW he uses a lot of different moves to win. So yeah, I thought this match was long enough. Hager got some offense in, but really it was a showcase for Danielson. I was really shocked he won because I thought there were going to be shenanigans. Like he cleanly won. So yeah, no, I thought the match was good.
Yep. No, I had said earlier Danielson was going to win, and he won. Yeah, it was actually a good match. I mean, Hager plays a decent, big guy that can dominate a guy for a while. He's not going to, light up any Dave Meltzer star ratings or anything like that. But you know what? He's good at what he does, and he's solid. He doesn't mess it up. He does a good job at who he is. It looked like he was trying to hurt Danielson. I mean,
Yeah,
that slam through the table was
that
impressive. And
was
some of his,
crazy.
yeah, and I mean, some of his other moves are just big power moves, powering out of stuff. He looks like a powerhouse in the ring, like a guy who's a legit threat, right? But not threatening enough for Danielson to take him down with the Busaiku knee. So yeah, pretty good stuff. And like you pointed out, I've said before, I love the way that Danielson has like 5 or 6 different moves that he has finished matches with. It's pretty damn great. So yeah, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. And then we get into the shenanigans. They save them for afterwards because Danny Magic and Angelo Parker come running down to the ring for the beatdown. They're trying to work over Danielson, but Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli come out for the save. They fight them off. They leave, but then Jericho comes down with a chair to the ring and he's going to smash Danielson. But Garcia comes out and takes the chair away from him, which starts an argument between Garcia and Jericho. And when Jericho turns around, he eats another Busaiku knee from Danielson. And Garcia just looks kind of off, conflicted, hurt, something. He had some kind of emotion on his face.
Yeah, they're really playing this one up. The as you joked, the Daniel Garcia in a pole match, right? Jericho and Danielson. But you know what I've seen with Daniel Garcia recently? An evolution, right? It's they basically have shown that yeah, he's a great wrestler, but no one ever thought he was really good on the mic, nor could he like portray like he can act well, right? Because wrestling is a lot of acting involved. What I've seen recently, I'm fully impressed. I cannot believe it. Like I'm loving Daniel Garcia, and I'm hoping to see more. What
Oh
do you
yeah.
think?
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It's his promo skills have developed, his acting skills have developed. I think that we can credit working with Chris Jericho for a while for that, right? I mean, having to cut the promos in the Jericho Appreciation Society, I think has done this kid nothing but good. And I think he's a much better rounded wrestler now. He still needs a bit of work. He's still like, his promo early was a little bit wooden. Like you can tell he might be delivering lines a little bit, but he's so much better than he used to be. And it doesn't come across like it's still good enough. I'm cool with it. Right. It's not so bad. I'm like, oh, you're pulling me out of the whole promo. It's not suffering succotash level, right? So yeah, he's good. He's an amazing wrestler with good
Mm-hmm.
promo skills. And really, what more can you ask? So
He's growing.
yeah, and I'm looking forward to the match. I think Jericho versus Danielson will be a very good match. It might not have been as good as the alternative versus the American Dream, but hey, it'll still be a good match, right? So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. It might not be on the top of my card, but yeah, I look forward to seeing the fallout from it because what I really want to see is more Daniel Garcia in the
Same,
ring against good wrestlers. So
same. I
yes.
agree.
Next, we have the wingmen, and the wingmen are in the ring with signs, and they're upset because they're not getting any screen time and they're not booked again on Dynamite. And they emphasize that from now on, as Peter Avalon says, Wednesdays are Wingman Wednesdays, but they're interrupted by W. Morrissey. Excalibur notes Morrissey is close to signing a deal, but they don't know with whom. We can hope it's TNA
Or WWE.
or WWE. That would be wonderful. I mean, he does kind of fit their size bill.
Yeah.
But anyway, Morrissey comes in the ring. He kills them all. He does a big choke slam to Peter Avalon to finish them off. Stokely came out, hands him his card. they walk out together because apparently Stokely can hypnotize people with his business card. He hasn't actually gotten a championship for anyone yet. So he's like the most amazing manager ever who can convince people to join him with absolutely zero results for any of his guys. It's
Maybe
just
everyone's just is
phenomenal.
maybe everyone's just like amazed by his stature and how short he is, so they think he's a doll walking around.
It could be, or maybe that business card just looks so impressive. I mean, this a note to everybody. If you have an impressive looking business card, people will join you whether or not you've done a damn thing.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
all about the business card. So anyway, speaking of the business cards, Tony Schiavone asked Stokely on his way out about the cards. Stokely says that's none of your business. And Morrissey gets in Tony Schiavone's face, blah, blah, blah. The crowd starts chanting Tony.
Yeah.
And that was the end of this.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna talk about this because I didn't really care for this. What I'm gonna talk about right now is I hope that Morrissey is not the mystery opponents or the mystery person entering that casino battle royale or whatever we're calling
Oh
it. I
God,
hope it's not him.
the
I really
casino ladder
do.
match.
Casino ladder match because as I said, I hope Tony Khan has read the room with this one. The crowd wasn't into it, and the
No,
fact that they were cheering for Tony, you know
yeah,
what? Like, yeah, read Tony, read the room.
yes, exactly. Like all the non-reading you did of Toronto for selling your tickets. Try to take the opposite of that approach, listening to Chicago, who I would say Chicago are some of the best wrestling fans on the planet. And if they're not chanting for whoever your new guy is, you might want to notice that they didn't care about Morrissey. I don't care about Morrissey. Krishna doesn't care about Morrissey. Nobody cares about
Yeah,
Morrissey except Stokely. And guess what? We don't care about Stokely either.
agreed.
So this was just a time-filling waste of space. The best part of this whole segment was getting to see Peter Avalon on television.
Like, I would rather watch Jade Cargill wrestle than everything I saw with this entire segment here, because
Even
I'm
though
like,
Peter Avalon was out there.
well, no, Peter Avalon was fine. Like, I wanted something better for Peter. Like, let's be honest,
Well, yeah.
Pretty Peter Avalon deserves better than this. But
Yes, he
like,
does.
but yeah, W Morrissey and Stokely Hathaway, like, I've seen nothing that's impressed me so far
No,
about Stokely at all.
no.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of like I'm over this now. Like, do something with your people, maybe, right? But
Right.
I don't know.
Yep. Well, we moved to a much better wrestler in the back because we're in the back with Will Ospreay.
Hmm.
And he's being interviewed and they say, and he says, well, after all the stuff and the undermining and he's saying some stuff anyway, but he gets interrupted by Don Callis almost immediately. And Don Callis says to him, I've been admiring your performance. People say you're the next Kenny Omega. You're not. You're your own man. You're the man everyone is talking about. And then Will Ospreay kicks him and the interviewer out of the dressing room.
Hmm. Don Callis saying some nice things to nice things, but in a condescending way as well to him.
Mm-hmm.
So just trying to rile him up, and yeah, you know what? This is again just emphasizing that they're putting the spotlight on Will. They're saying, "Hey, Will, you're the next big thing. You're the next Kenny Omega. Hey, if you're being called the next Kenny Omega, you've already made it, man. Like, come on, let's be real here. Just by having them say that, you are already and you know me, like my second favorite wrestler now in such a short period of time. Like, look at that. Like, I've got nothing bad to say about Will Ospreay. So the more Will Ospreay I get, the better it is for me.
Yes, and I'm not so sure that I 100% agree on your take on the Don Callis
You don't
interference
think
there.
so?
No, because he was telling him, there's Kenny Omega, but then there's you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're great. And Don Callis is a promoter. So, it's kind of interesting. He went into their dressing room and was like talking up Will Ospreay. And it
Yeah.
wasn't really there wasn't that much condescension or talking down to him. You know what I mean? It felt more to me like he was there saying, I kind of like you.
Mm-hmm.
which I find very interesting.
Interesting. Well, we'll see.
So we'll see what happens. I took the read on it that this could be part of the overall story eventually, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, it's 8:37, which apparently is the new time for the women's match because it was pretty close to this time last week too, I believe. And anyway, we have Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter taking on Hikaru Shida and Toni Storm. And Hikaru and Toni come out to Toni's theme, which I don't understand why it's terrible and Hikaru's is better. But anyway, Hayter and Shida start off. There is almost near the beginning, there was a botched Hurricane Rana to Hayter by Shida that just looked terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, like Hayter landed on her face. It was just, ow. The ref immediately went over to check on her, but fortunately, it looked like she was just fine. But I mean, ow. It looked bad. But anyway, Storm ends up getting the advantage on Baker at one point until Hayter trips her. They swarm Toni to send it to the commercial, including pulling her into a ring post at one point. When they come back from commercial, Storm is up on the turnbuckle. She gets her tornado DDT on Baker, who ends up tagging out, but Storm gets the hot tag as well. Hikaru Shida pulls a Meteora off the second rope to Hayter. Hayter get double suplexes both Shida and Storm. Baker then goes for the stomp on Shida, but it gets reversed. There's a drop kick off the top rope. Shida pulls Hayter off the top. Toni with a hip attack to Britt Baker, which is followed by the kick to the dive. Yeah, and I lose my tongue. It's followed by the kick to Hayter on the outside, and Shida does her finisher to Britt for the clean pin on Britt Baker.
And then they play Shida's music, so maybe that's why they played Toni Storm's music at the beginning. But this match was good. This match was fun, actually. You know, like props to Hayter for eating that botch. Holy, like everyone reacted to that one. I was like, oh my god, she looks like she's hurt.
Yeah.
But you know what? No blood, nothing. She looks okay. So I'm just happy that she's fine. The Toni Storm, what she did was Toni Storm, what she did was when she did the hip check or hip whatever she does to Britt, she actually like jumped out of the ring and did the tornado DDT to Jamie, which was kind of cool. Actually, it kind of flowed pretty well. But again, just like that's all she does. The tornado. If she hasn't mastered that by now, then you're wasting everyone's time. But overall, look at this. Look at these like three wrestlers, 3.5, who were they went out there, they wrestled, and they had it was quick. There was no like lulls in the match. There wasn't any rest holes. Like it was fast. I enjoyed it. I thought this match was good.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was entertaining. I enjoyed it. Again, it was fine. I mean, even Toni Storm was fine.
Yeah.
Nothing. The only thing that looked bad in the whole thing was she just botched Hurricane Rana, right? But none, like you, I'm just glad Hayter's okay and she was able to take it. But you know, the rest of the match was fine. I mean, Shida with that meteor off that second rope to Hayter was just insane. She landed that perfectly, and like, man, there was a lot of good stuff in this match. It was very fast paced. Like you said, solid match. I enjoyed it. I'm hoping that this sets up that either Britt or Hayter will win the title on Sunday, but we shall see.
We shall see.
Yep. So that brings us into Kip Sabian in the back, and he leads off telling, hey, bastard, you fell for the simplest of ruses. I can read you like a book, referring to last week when he had someone else under the box. And Pac comes on and says, you pestered me and badgered me, and you want a shot at my championship. And Kip just says, Sunday, you will embrace the change. So it looks like we got the new match for the Atlantic Championship on Sunday, Kip Sabian versus Pac.
Yeah, glad to see Kip back. It's been way too long without Kip Sabian. Like he's awesome.
Yes.
I love his new look, like his white hair or his silver hair and his dark beard, like fully playing up that kind of like evil villain kind of like look that he's trying to pull off. But I'm excited. Pac versus Sabian, that's gonna be a fantastic match. So I'm you know what? And he's right. You fell for it, Pac. I've been following you around. You fell for the simplest of tricks, right? So yeah, I'm excited and I am can't wait. Like, do they take the Pac's had a good summer, I'd say, with his belt. Do they take it away and give it to Kip now? Well, I guess
that way Kip can go off and defend it in various indie promotions around the world. because apparently that's where you normally defend this
I
belt,
guess,
right?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what they're gonna do with Kip Sabian now. He'll just be off at Indie Promotions defending the Atlantic
Yeah.
Championship for AEW.
Like AW, maybe you should have them maybe defend that belt on Dynamite or Rampage, maybe, your own shows a little bit. But
Yeah, it
anyways,
might be cool. I
yeah.
mean, they're defending it all out,
I
right? So, I like this change in Kip Sabian too, and I'm wondering what he means entirely by embrace the change. Are we going to see a significantly different Kip Sabian? Is this going to be a really interestingly different gimmick? I kind of hope so because he's been
Same.
gone long enough. Come back reinvented, come back a little different. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this match too. I'm hoping it'll be something fun. So that then brings us to a Miro promo. And Miro says, I just wanted to redeem you, but my God was so scared he made a deal with the devil to take me out. How's that working out for you, God? You think the mist can match my power? And then Darby Allin comes out, and Darby says some stuff. And then Sting comes out. And Sting says, the enemy of the enemy. And he gives a very long pause and goes, is a friend. And I swear to God,
delivery.
you could see the smiley emoji after he said it. It was so funny the way he delivered this line. And the mirror goes, they will all find out my power. This is the word of the Redeemer.
Yeah. Again, I said after this, like such an odd delivery by Sting. It kind of sounded like he had a stroke halfway through and woke up or something like that. Very odd combination. Do I want to see Malachi versus Miro? And I love the fact they're calling out Brody and they're calling out Buddy, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, you don't need, like, they don't need you, you need them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that the House of Black wins this match and absolutely just destroys these three renegades, I'm gonna call them, because I don't like Sting and Darby with Miro is not appealing to me in any way. It's really not. So I don't get it.
Yeah. This was probably one of Miro's not so great promos. It just didn't really click with me. I'm like, okay, so you laughed at your God. That's fine. But you say a lot of stuff about redeeming, but you're not really doing anything with it. And then Darby comes out, and seriously, all I heard was like blah, 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 Brody King. And then Sting with the most memorable part of the promo of the night, which was just awesome. And then back to Miro again. And I'm kind of like, I don't know, guys. You're not really selling me on how much I want to see this match at all. And we didn't even hear from the House of Black tonight.
No.
So it's like you're selling me based on the words of these three guys. Yeah. This match is like way down my list of things I care about seeing on Sunday, because they haven't really built it up well for me. I'm not sold on the whole Miro versus House of Black thing at all.
Yeah. And that's it, right? It's very odd. I think Miro needs to lock his doors now when he does promos, because when Julia Hart showed up the previous week, and now,
I know,
now
right?
Darby and Sting show up.
I know, people keep walking into his promo room. He's like, I'm trying to cut a promo here, guys, and all these people just keep walking in. You should be having a little word with like the AEW crew, like, guys, like the promo lights on outside. Stop letting people in.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm excited to see the House of Black, not so much everyone else.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I'm not even that excited to see Miro. I hope the House of Black wins and moves on to something bigger than this, like maybe challenging for the trios belts. That would be kind of nice.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that was just trying to set stuff up. But then CM Punk's music hits. And CM Punk comes out, but he's not exactly walking with much energy. He gets to the ring and he looks sad. He looks like a beaten man. And he says, on June 1st, I broke my foot. Then I wrestled a match on it. I pulverized the bones in my foot. Accidents happen. On June 8th, he said, I got surgery, 3 plates and 16 screws in my foot, which real quick is 16 more times screwed, 16 more times than this fat guy has ever gotten screwed in his life. And he says, I probably shouldn't have said that, but I probably shouldn't have done things in my, like, said a lot of things or done a lot of things in my career. One was coming back too early. Last week, I got beat up in Cleveland. It's not the first time I've been beat up in Cleveland, but this time didn't sit well with me. I was 100%, but it's a new 100%. And I don't know if that 100% is good enough. I came back to professional wrestling a year ago because I love the business, I love the fans, and you love me back. And that's why it hurts to feel like I let you down. I wasn't able to walk Larry for 2 months, and it hurt because I let him down to rush back and perform for you. My sister's in the front row. I feel like I let her down. Maybe that love just isn't enough anymore. But then Ace Steel, the guy who took the contract earlier, comes running and goes, what is this? This is not what we talked about you coming out and saying. This isn't you. Look, I trained this man. I was his coach from day one. You've been fighting from underneath to get where you are. You're the thing I'm most proud of in my career. From day one, you do all of this. We're not just friends, we're family. You didn't let Chicago down. You filled an arena on a rumor. You lost in Cleveland. So what? I'll leave out the bleeped part. You get knocked down, you get back up, and then he like swears and slaps CM Punk and says, sign the contract. So CM Punk says, he gets the mic, takes the contract, and he cuts this promo. I was just a punk rock kid in Chicago. I had a blue face when I was born because the umbilical cord was tied around my neck. They've tried to kill me since day one. Mox, you ain't the one to kill me. This is Chicago. We eat the weak. We are different kids, but we have the same heartbeat. And I mean, at this point, he's just going on about being like in Chicago. The people he's standing in front of, because he went out to the crowd and he's standing out in the crowd cutting this promo, the people around him, their eyes are literally filled with tears. So anyway, that was his promo and he leaves. So he signed the contract.
Yeah. What a build. What a build. Remember, I was like, what the hell are they doing having this match? Then they have the match last week. What a terrible match. But what a build. There is no way in hell CM Punk loses in Chicago. Sorry, Mox. I hope you enjoyed your little run you had. But wow, CM Punk is coming out on the top, the biggest baby face, maybe in Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest baby face there is. Like, he's going through like everything, all the emotions. There is no way this guy loses in Chicago unless things happen. But there's no way in hell CM Punk loses in Chicago.
Right. No, and he's not going to lose in Chicago. And I think that this is last week I was upset because I'm like, what the hell are they doing with Punk? I don't understand. Was he really injured? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, they better tell me a good story.
Mm-hmm.
Well, AEW, you told me a good story because now I want to see this match even more than I wanted to see the title match the first time. We talked about why are they giving this match away on free TV when they could be doing it on the pay-per-view? Well, guess what? They didn't give the match away to us for free. They used a bait and switch. Yeah, we're going to give you the quote unquote match to build the match even more and get people talking. And people were talking about Punk getting crushed and what are they doing? And you and I talked about it. And like everybody was talking about that match. Everybody. And now we're getting the rematch in Chicago with both Moxley and Punk cutting epic promos tonight. So yeah, am I hyped for this match? Hells yes. It is the match I am by far most hyped for right now on this pay-per-view, in spite of what happens later. So seriously, guys, good job on the build. I can't wait to watch my boy beat the living crap out of Jon Moxley on Sunday. It'll be wonderful. I can't wait to see CM Punk holding the AEW title up again. It'll be wonderful. And he will be the undisputed AEW World Champion. I'm not biased at all.
Very true. It's going to happen.
It is going to happen. It would have happened anyway, because as we all know, CM Punk is the rightful champion. But anyway. So now we go to a JR interview segment, and he's got Christian and Jungle Boy. And he's sitting down in a chair between them, and he mentions that they have sworn that there will be no physicality, because that's what we do in AEW. We ensure all of our interviews they've signed a no physicality thing. So Christian says, "Look, you know I'm professional to the T. On Sunday, Jack, you will realize you're not in my league. You know, I've been at this for 25 years." And Jack says, "I cared about you a lot. It felt familiar. I loved you. You made me feel like you loved me too. This was the real you all along." And Christian says, "I'm here to make money, not be your friend. I'm here for me." Jungle Boy, Jack, "My father taught me how to be a man. You're not wrestling Jungle Boy Sunday. You're fighting Jack Perry."
Yeah. Building this match, and Christian's just hilarious as normal. Jungle Boy needs a bit more work on the mic. Like I get what he was trying to say in the promo. Like but you know what? It's at a certain point where, as you said, Punk was making the audience feel right.
Yes.
Jungle Boy wasn't conveying that, right? And I know he was trying. That's what he was trying to do, trying to get you to feel for him. But it's like his delivery is just not there yet. But he's so young. It's gonna get there eventually, and he's working with people like CM Punk. And hey, he's working with another person who's amazing on the mic, Christian, right?
Yes.
So we have to remember that. Like, I'm happy this match is finally gonna take place. Yeah, I just want to get to the match. Like I'm over all these promos now. I just want to get to the match. So yeah, the promo felt kind of flat, but you know what? It's Jungle Boy. He's a work in progress, so I'll give him that.
Yeah, I mean, you're completely right about the feeling. I mean, like I'm reading his lines and I'm
Mhm.
laughing
Yeah,
because it's like I can't feel it. He just
yeah,
sounded so overdone. Like, who
yeah,
actually talks like that, right?
yeah.
Like it didn't come out the way I think that a real person would have talked to Christian there, right?
Exactly,
It was
exactly.
just, I loved you and blah blah blah. And like, okay, one of those would have been fine, but then he goes on about it, and it just seemed so like you're overemphasizing the point, and you didn't come across as genuine to me,
Yeah,
right? I mean, he didn't have that fire he had in the ring the other day. So yeah, it they're building up the match. That's fine. It is what it is. But I wouldn't say the best interview segment for either of these guys, which is unfortunate that it's their last interview segment before the pay-per-view, but that's fine. There's other matches to look forward to.
exactly,
CM Punk.
exactly.
And then we have FTR come out. And we're like, okay, but then they announce it as a trios match, but Wardlow wasn't ready to fight a trios match. He had to walk from way in the back somewhere. I think maybe FTR was trying to ditch him, but he ends up coming out. Then they cut to Sanjay Dutt, who is watching the TV WWE style.
Taking notes.
Yes, taking notes, though not as cool as the elite on being the elite when they tell Brandon to take a shot of them watching the
Watching the
monitor.
monitor.
Was it Matt who was looking over his
Yeah, it was Matt.
shoulder
It was Matt.
backwards at the monitor? Oh, guys, you're the best. So anyway, they're fighting three dudes. It's just three guys. They're jobbers. They work over one guy who gets the tag. FTR give him the big rig power bomb pin. Okay,
Yeah,
that
that
was
was
that
it.
match. Yep.
That was it. I mean, like, it's great seeing FDR, but do I really have to watch FDR and Wardlow? Like,
What did this do to hype their match on Sunday?
nothing. It did absolutely nothing. It
I
was
mean,
like
are we
W
to
Dorsey
imagine?
coming out.
I know, it's like exactly. It's like, okay, we need to fill some time. Let's just throw them out there and remind them that they'll be in a match Sunday. Like, I don't know. And then what? Sanjay Dutt taking notes. Okay, that's great, dude. You're taking notes. So what are you taking notes of exactly? A squash match? Like,
Yeah,
what are you learning from this that you're going to convey to either Jay Lethal or the Motor City Machine Guns? What?
yeah.
And
Doesn't make
PS,
sense.
when you watch a TV from the side, the color gets messed. So maybe try looking at it straight on. I'm just saying. Anyway, John Moxley comes storming out. He has found the tunnel, people. He does not come out through the crowd. He found the tunnel. Clearly, he's being very serious. He gets in the ring. and he says, if that's what your boy wants, that's what he's going to get. If he wants to go out in front of Chicago on his shield, that's fine. It'll be CM Punk versus Jon Moxley at All Out. The moment that bell rings, you'll be in danger. I'll be trying to take your head off. You're going to get a display of brutality that CM Punk has never experienced. I will show the world the difference between a fake messiah and a real legend being made right before your eyes.
Yeah. Awesome promo again by Moxley. Like, it's just hyping the match even more. So good job.
Yep. No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, more hype. And again, this is like actual hype, not just marching FTR and Wardlow out with Sanjay Dutt taking notes. See, that's not hype. This is hype. But this is what happens when you have a master like Moxley come out to hype the match. So yeah. Anyway, we go in the back, and Toni is with the Dark Order. Preston Vance's knee is injured, and he will not be able to participate in their trios semifinals match on Friday. But Evil Uno is back from his video game hiatus, and he can take his place on Friday. But Andrade comes in and offers Vance a contract. But when he offers him the contract, Evil Uno interferes. They end up beating down Uno with a crutch and a stun gun, and that ends the segment.
Like, Preston Vance is injured. Now Uno is injured. Who's going to be the person to step up and help the Dark Order, right?
Yeah.
Kind of obvious, but yeah, this is, I just love when Andrade comes out. He's like, what do you need? Like, why are you doing this? Do you need money? He gives him money. Right? He goes, didn't you lead? Weren't you a leader at one point? What happened? Do you need some money? He gives him the cash. So Andrade is still friggin' hilarious.
Yep.
But yeah. I mean, it's doing its job of pushing forward the team that's gonna face off again at the main event, or the semi-main events at All Out.
Right.
Yeah, no, they did its job. It was quick. It was funny.
Yeah, exactly. And Evil Uno, the easiest guy to beat down in professional wrestling. He's taken down by a couple crutch shots and a taser, and he's now out, injured, as we will find out later. So this moves on to Dante Martin versus Wheeler Yuta versus Roosh versus Rey Fenix. And wow, a lot of stuff happened in this match. So Dante, early on, he gets a destroyer type move to, I believe it was Yuta.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anyway, and then Rey hits him with a poison Rana and dives outside to hit Roosh. Yuta dives on Rey. Dante Martin jumps on top of the rope and out and hits them all in his usual amazing rope balance spot. Roosh headbutts Dante out of the air at one point and dives on all three of them outside. Roosh whips Rey with cables during the commercial break and beats down Yuta, posing in the ring, chops down Dante, and then Roosh with a straightjacket pile driver to Dante for 2. He got a good long segment of dominance in this match. Rey drop kicks Roosh out, and Dante plants Rey for 2 with a slam, but Rey does a flip over face buster and then a power bomb for 2. Dante then comes back with a poison Rana to Rey, which looked a little bit odd. It was not your typical looking sort of quick Rey poison Rana. It was more of a up and over poison Rana. I don't know how to describe it, but it was a little different. Yuta dumps him off the top rope, though. Rey stops Yuta to dive on Roosh outside. Yuta and Dante trade holds, ending in a very innovative pin by Yuta for 3. I don't even know what to call that pin hold.
They called it the seatbelt pin.
Really?
Because he was pulling his leg back across his body. So they call it the seatbelt one. Taz is calling,
Well,
so
there we go. I have learned a new name for a hold.
Yeah. This match was great. I loved it. It's quick. Obviously these guys they go like, a mile a minute, basically. Like, everything was getting reversed. These guys, like the flips to the outside. Obviously Dante Martin, who again doesn't understand what gravity is, accompanied by Rey Fenix, of course, right? I kind of saw Wheeler Yuta coming out of this. I'm like, well, who's gonna take the pin? Obviously Martin took the pin, but like, it just propels Yuta for his match next week. So yeah, no, I really, really, really like this match. Like, let's say on a normal Dynamite, this could have been easily my match of the night, right? But this was not a normal Dynamite, so
no,
that's good.
No, it was not a normal Dynamite. this was an Omega Dynamite.
Yep.
So yes, no, I agree with you. This was a really fun match to watch. There was a lot of really cool moves in it. It was very fast paced. My only problem with the whole match is there's like zero storytelling in this
Yeah.
match. It was
Yeah.
just four guys going out and putting on a good performance, but I like my stories and this didn't have one. So this is like, yeah, I enjoyed it. Very entertaining. Good job, guys. It's what I expect from you guys. But I'm probably not going to remember this match in like a month, so
Yeah.
or a week. So yeah, thanks guys. Good show. Then we go into the back and we have John Silver and Alex Reynolds, and they're like, well, Uno is out. So it's just the two of them. It's the biggest opportunity we have. But if, me and John have to take on three guys, so be it. But in walks Hangman Adam Page. And he says, if 10 can't do it and Uno can't do it, well, you got me.
Yeah.
And they say, well, it looks like he's going to join them, but then they immediately put up a graphic on the screen that says, Hangman with John Silver and Alex Reynolds will be on Rampage against the best friends for the semifinals. So it looks like we're getting Hangman, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds as the Dark Order team.
Yeah, Hangman again, the nicest guy, right? To the Dark Order. He's like, guys, I've been in your corner. Like I've always been in your corner, right? And I was like, of course, Hangman, of course. So yeah, you know what? We knew this was coming. We knew what's happening. We know it's gonna be Hangman's group, or she says they Dark Order and Hangman advancing to the finals at All Out. So yeah. Unless the best friends pull off something amazing, maybe they'll cheat a lot again, right? But
chainsaws.
But yeah, you know what? It's gonna be a fun match for them on Rampage. Even though we know who's gonna win it. So.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Because we know what we're setting up for the finals at All Out. So yeah. Okay, so that brings us to the main event where we have United Empire taking on the Elite in the Dynamite semifinals for the Trios tournament. And the one moment to talk about the introduction of Kenny Omega, which this week was basically listing off everything he's done better than Will Ospreay, even charity work. It was just a list of all of his accomplishments that he's done better than Will Ospreay, and I was busting a gut. So the match opens up. Ospreay nails Omega right out of the gate, beats him down in the corner, throws off the ref, and the Bucks interfere. Everyone's in the ring. It's a bit of a brouhaha for a second. Kenny gets the upper hand. Ospreay takes him. I mean, the story of this match is really Ospreay wants Kenny, right? And Kenny doesn't mind fighting Ospreay, but it's more like Ospreay is after Kenny.
Yeah.
The Bucks take out Ospreay here. Ospreay though does this amazing sky twister off the turnbuckle, like down to the outside to take out all three members of the Elite. It breaks down on the outside at this point. Again, they're all fighting up the ramp. The ref is just letting them go. I mean, rule book? What rule book? You end up getting Kenny and Will back in the ring. There hasn't even been a tag at this point. This is when you finally start getting the first tag. Kenny tags in Nick, who immediately tags in Matt. They do some double teaming to Ospreay, but then he drops the Bucks with a flip. He tags in Davis, who goes to work on they go to work on the Bucks. There's a double body slam by Davis to the Bucks. Fletcher does an assisted cutter to Matt for 2, which gets saved by Omega. Matt gets out of up versus all three of them and does this Cazadora face plant to Ospreay, followed up by a hot tag to Kenny that was just nuts. Kenny comes in with a very fast sequence on Ospreay, a drop kick to the knee, followed by a bulldog and a pin for 2. It was just so quick. Omega tosses Ospreay out of the ring, but Ospreay skins the cat. There's an Oz cutter blocked, but then the snap German. He does this. Omega launches the snap German on Ospreay, but Ospreay lands on his feet. He does a Hurricane Rana to Omega, getting him outside. But when he dives outside, he's caught by Omega, who then snapdragons him onto the floor in one of the most insane, like starting with that skin the cat all the way to the snapdragon was just nuts. Fletcher catches Omega on the top rope shortly after this. Aussie Open does a delayed superplex to Omega for a 2 count. At this point, Ospreay rips the shirt off of Omega and starts to work on the ribs. He does a whirling backbreaker for a 2 count. Kenny gets worked on for the whole commercial break, basically by United Empire, including Ospreay applying the abdominal stretch to Kenny Omega. Yes. Nick gets hot tagged in though, and then there's a rope spring destroyer. That's what I'm going to call it. Ospreay. He takes out Aussie Open though, and then he does a counter to a counter on Ospreay outside, ending in a DDT because Ospreay jumps Ospreay gets outside. Nick jumps out. Ospreay catches him and looks like he's got him cold, but Nick ends up reversing it into a DDT on the outside. Ospreay drops Nick. He signs for the V trigger on Nick, but Kenny gets pissed and they go at it. The sequence ends in a Liger bomb though by Ospreay that just looked nuts. It was one of the hardest Liger bombs I've seen dropped in a long time. Jackson counters. They triple team with the cutter. The Elite ends up landing their finisher, the BTE trigger for a near fall. The Elite sets up for a Meltzer driver, but it's reversed by United Empire into a Meltzer driver off the top rope for a near fall. They set up for the hidden blade, but the Elite counters again. Fletcher eats a super kick party, but then Ospreay finally gets hit by the V trigger, and there's an indie taker to Ospreay. I'm sorry, Ospreay tries to get, or Ospreay hits a V trigger himself, but then they reverse, they end up turning it around and do an indie taker to Ospreay. Omega hits then, sets up Fletcher, V trigger to Fletcher, one wing angel for 3, and the Elite win the match. And a very despondent Will Ospreay sits on the ramp.
What a match. Like, what a match. Like, this is my match of the night. This is the Omega level match we were waiting for. Kenny and Will delivered in the short time they were provided to go to basically fight each other. They delivered on everything we were expecting. Kenny looked great today. Great. I made the comment, I'm like, wow, he looks like he's back. Like, last week with the mess up that he did and stuff like that, he was slowly no, he looked fantastic this week. I was like, Kenny Omega is back. And him and Ospreay going at it, the reversals, like just trying to show each other up every single chance they got. Like, this is the fight I want to see. I want to see I want to see the trilogy or the best of 5 or whatever you have to throw at me, AEW and New Japan. We need Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. We needed it yesterday. All right. Like, I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I am so happy that obviously the Elite won, but man, I can just see the future. Right. And man, and Kenny wasn't lying. He's here to change the world, right? Him and Will. I've got nothing to say about these guys. Like, honestly, I've got nothing more I can say. Like, perfection. That's all I've got to say. Absolutely perfect.
So what you're really saying then is, okay, so do we have a pay-per-view after All Out before the end of the year?
No, we don't. It's gonna be All Out, and then the next one is Revolution. No, All In. No, what is it? It's Revolution, isn't it? No, because they do it every quarter, right? So we have one in January, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So it'll be September, October, November. Yeah, January is what I'm thinking is the next pay-per-view.
Okay. Yeah, because okay, first of all, I agree with you completely. This match was wonderful,
Oh
great,
my
so
goodness,
many
yeah.
good moves in it. But really, the highlight for me was watching Omega and Ospreay because
Oh
that's
yeah,
your story. I mean,
yeah.
the other guys all played their parts. They spent a lot of time, like Nick had some really spectacular sequences and stuff, but they all felt like they were just window dressing to
Mm-hmm.
the Will Ospreay Kenny Omega show.
Agreed.
And that's really what it was. That was your story, was those
Yep.
two, right? I mean, even from the beginning with Kenny with his whole list of things that he's better than Will Ospreay at, including charity work.
Yep.
um right up to that, and then Ospreay trying to pull off the V trigger and stuff, like mocking Kenny with his own moves. Ospreay with that, and just phenomenal landing on his feet out. I've never seen anyone land on their feet out of the Snapdragon before. Never.
No.
That was
Um.
nuts.
So Bill, just to
Yeah.
let you know, there is a pay-per-view after before the end of the year, after All Out. It's Full Gear in November.
Oh yeah, yeah. I thought there was another one in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Full Gear in November, and at Full Gear we will have. This is my prediction. This is my booking now. You ready?
Okay, I'm
You
ready to
just
hear
said
it.
you just said the magic words trilogy, and I'm like, we're getting a trilogy. So here's how it's gonna roll. We're going to get part 1 at Full Gear. Kenny Omega will win that match. Okay, but Will Ospreay is going to come damn close.
Mm-hmm.
So then at Wrestle Kingdom, we get Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay in New Japan turf, and Will Ospreay wins.
Will win.
And now you have to have the tiebreaker at the next one. Or you start the first one with a, 30-minute time limit draw. They just can't beat each other. I mean, do something like that. But I mean, you could have a sequence of matches over the next year between these two. I mean, look, I'm not going to get tired of watching them fight over the course of a year. So, I mean, please just give me their next match, because these guys are good enough storytellers that they will continue to tell a unique story every time, or progress the story that was there before, the same way that Omega was able to do it with Okada.
Yep.
Right.
Agreed.
I mean, the story between Omega and Okada was he just couldn't get the damn one-winged angel on him. And he was struggling to get the one-winged angel on him for the longest time. And Okada, it was great. And I mean, we will be, and we'll talk about this coming up in future shows, but we will be looking at those matches at some point in the near future anyway. So, yes, this match, 100% Omega level. You cannot have Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay in the same ring and not have an Omega level match unless your name is Jim Cornette. Because you know who hated this match?
Jim Cornette.
Jim Cornette.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that you got any more comments on this match? Because like that, they're just phenomenal.
It was fantastic. Like that's all I could say. It was absolutely fantastic.
Yep. So that was Dynamite tonight. So we are built up for the pay-per-view. Where are you on the hype level for the pay-per-view based on the build-ups tonight?
I'm hyped. Even if I'm hyped for just like the two main events, I am hyped. And I remember I said to you, I said, All Out is shaping up to be and could be AEW's best pay-per-view of the year so far. No offense to Forbidden Door or anything like that, but it's shaping up to be that, right? Yeah, we're not gonna have Will Ospreay there. Sadness, or maybe we will. We'll talk about that.
Maybe we will.
But yeah, I'm very hyped for this.
Yes. I am also very hyped for this. I am hyped for the Omega, the Elite, the Omega match, Elite versus probably Dark Order. It's going to be very interesting. I'm super hyped for CM Punk versus John Moxley. There's some other matches. I'm looking forward to the Casino Ladder match, as long as Morrissey isn't the surprise entrant.
Oh my God.
And if he is the surprise entrant, I hope all other 7 guys gang up on him and kill him.
Agreed.
I don't actually want him dead. Disclaimer. Yeah, no, it's shaping up to be a good. It's shaping up to be a long pay-per-view.
Of course.
So,
of course
yeah.
it is.
So at 4:30 a.m. when it finally finishes, we will record our review.
Agreed.
And it'll be good stuff. But that is for another day. For now, we have reached the end of the show, and it is time for our phrase that summarizes the evening.
Easy. Nobody kicks out of the one-winged angel. And that's it.
That's good, because it's the truth. Until Will Ospreay does it.
We'll see.
We shall see. And nobody beats CM Punk in Chicago.
Until someone beats CM Punk in Chicago.
This is also true, but we'll see.
We'll see.
So anyway, on those two wonderful notes, that brings us to our end. And as the great one himself always says, in a way better than Will Ospreay could ever say it, goodbye, everybody, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.